Hello everyone. In this video we're going to go over the eligibility requirement that you must meet to become a Canadian citizen. If you do meet all these requirements and if you need help to fill out and submit your Canadian citizenship application, I have already made a video about a step-by-step on how to apply for Canadian citizenship application online. Feel free to check that out, and if you have any question, let me know in the comments. But before you can actually fill and submit your Canadian citizenship application, I highly recommend you to watch this video if you're not sure whether you meet the eligibility requirements to become a Canadian citizen or not. So we're going to go over all the requirements one by one, and I'm going to go into details and explain about all of them. And if you have any questions, just let me know in the comment. So to become a Canadian citizen, you must be a permanent resident for at least 730 days. You must be a permanent resident for at least 730 days. I'm going to talk about this in more details. Just bear with me in a few minutes. But before I move on to the next bullet point, I need to let you know that the 730 days start from the date that is shown on the back of your PR card. So on the back of your PR card, there is a date in front of the line PR since. There is a date in front of that line. This is a date that IRCC counts you as a permanent resident. And from this date, from the date right in front of PR since, this is the date that you must have been a permanent resident for at least 730 days to be able to apply for Canadian citizenship. So if you got your Canadian citizenship, for 730 days is 2 years, by the way. For 2 years. So you have to be a permanent resident for at least 2 years to be able to apply for Canadian citizenship, and this is very recent. So if you have been in Canada for the last 5 years, and you have never left Canada during the last 5 years, but you have only been a permanent resident for 1 year, then you do not meet the eligibility to apply this eligibility to apply for Canadian citizenship. If you have, so you must be at least a permanent resident for 2 years to be able to actually apply. Again, I'm gonna go into more details about this one later. Just bear with me. Then the second requirement is you have to have lived in Canada for 3 years out of 5 during the last 5 years. So you have to live in Canada for 3 years during the last 5 years. You have to have filed your taxes for the last 3 years. So during the last, for at least 3 years, for at least 3 years. During the last 5 years. During the last 5 years. If you have not filed your taxes for at least 3 years during the last 5 years, then they are not going to let you apply for Canadian citizenship. You must have filed your taxes for at least 3 years during the last 5 years to be able to submit your Canadian citizenship application. Next, these two requirements, the proof of your language skills and citizenship test. This is only for people between ages 18 and 54. So if you're between ages 18 and 54, you must upload a picture of your language skills. It can be a bachelor degree, it can be a high school diploma, it can be a certificate, it can be a transcript, it can be the certificate that you got from ESL classes. It can be an advanced diploma. It can be a list. There's a list of documents that you can, I'm going to show you later. And you can choose from that list and upload those documents. It can be in English or French. You have to upload those and to be able to meet this requirement right here, proof of your language skills. Also, if you're between the ages 18 and 54, you have to pass a citizenship test. So after you submit your application, if you are between ages 18 and 54, IRCC will send you an email and will let you know that you have to complete the citizenship test. You have to pass that. They're going to give you a date and they will let you know how to do the citizenship test. But if you are 17 years old or younger, and 50 years old or older, then you do not need to do the test, no test, and you do not need proof of, you do not need to show any proof of your language skills. No proof of English or French. So again, if you are 17 years old or younger, and if you're 55 years old or older, you don't need to do the Canadian citizenship test, and you do not need to show any proof for your language skills. But if you are between ages 18 and 54, you must pass the Canadian citizenship test and you must show a proof of your language skills. Lastly is the last requirement is taking the oath of citizenship. This is very easy. It's nothing to be worried about. Everyone who are 4 years old or older must must take the oath of citizenship. Again, it's nothing to be worried about. So after your citizenship application has been processed, after you submit the application, after it's been processed, they're going to send you an email and they will let you know when you have to take the oath of citizenship. But again, it's nothing to be worried about. It's very easy. But I want to go into more details about, I want to go into more details about one and this criteria right here. And then I'm going to show you a list of documents they add for this, for your language skills. So let me just... So this is the Canadian citizenship application that you must fill and submit for in order to become a Canadian citizen. Again, as I said, I have already made a video about this. You can just watch that. But the reason I am showing you this is because when you go over all the eligibility requirement on the website, they don't tell you the requirement right here. They don't talk about this. I don't know why, even though as you can see on the citizenship application, again, this is a citizenship application, it shows that is a must, but they don't talk about this. So as I mentioned, in order for you to become a Canadian citizen, you must have been in Canada for 3 years or 1,095 days. And out of the 3 years that you have to have been in Canada, you must be a permanent resident for at least 2 years or 730 days. So let's say that you have been living in Canada for 5 years and you were an international student for 4 years. So you were an international student. IS means international students. I'm just using abbreviations. And for 1 year, you have been a permanent resident. So this is, let me just write permanent residence. So let's say that you have been in Canada for 5 years and you were an international student for 4 years and you're a permanent resident for 1 year. If you add the number of days that you have lived in Canada, it's going to be for sure over 1,095. Yeah, it's going to be more than 3 years that they're making you they're asking you to be in Canada. It's going to be over that. It's going to be you have been in Canada for 5 years. They just need you to be here for 3 years. But even though that you have been in Canada for 5 years, they still will not let you submit your application because you have not been a permanent resident for 2 years, for at least 2 years. So in order for you to be able to submit your citizenship application, you must be a permanent resident for at least 2 years. At least 2 years. So if you have been in Canada for 5 years as an international student, if you have been in Canada for 5 years and you were only international students for 3 years, international students for 3 years, and you were a permanent resident for 2 years, you were a permanent resident for 2 years, now you meet the eligibility requirement. Now you can say that, hey, I was in Canada for over 3 years. I was in Canada for over 3 years, and I have been a permanent resident for at least 2 years. So actually 2 requirements here. I'm just gonna clear all this. So there's actually 2 requirements that you must meet here. One requirement is this one right here. You must be in Canada for 1,095 days. And second requirement is that you must be a permanent resident for at least 2 years. So if you meet them both, then you can apply. If you meet them both, then you can apply. But if you meet one of them, let's say meet this one because you were an international student for 3 years, but you don't meet this one, then you can't apply. But if you meet them both, then you can apply. You can just go ahead and apply, and I'm going to show you how it's going to look like on your application. So just ignore this part. Let's say you were an international student for 243 days, and you were a permanent resident. It says for 930 days, which is good because any day you want it to be greater than 730 days. If it's less than 730 days, it's not going to let you apply. But here it's 932 days, which means that you passed one of the requirements. Now you have to add these 2 up, and if the sum of these 2 is greater than 1,095 days, then you're good to apply for Canadian citizenship. But if it's less than 1,095 days, then you cannot apply. If the sum of this one and this one is less than 1,095 days, then you cannot apply. If you're eligible to apply, you can apply. Then you get this green line right here, and it will also give you a message that congratulations, you do meet the requirement. If you're eligible to apply, you're going to get this green line right here. So again, you have to make sure you meet this one and this one. You have to meet both of these requirements to actually be able to apply. Now that we talk about these 2, it's now time to talk about the list of documents that IRCC accept accept as your proof of language skills. But before I actually show you the list, I want to emphasize one more time on this bullet point right here. Again, you have to have filed your taxes for at least 3 years during the last 5 years. During the last 5 years. And if you haven't done that, then IRCC, then you will not be allowed to submit your citizenship application. When you're submitting your application, it's going to give you an error. It's not going to submit your application. So this is a must. So now it's time to move on this part. This part, as I mentioned, is only for people between the 18 and 54. So if you're not between those ages, you can stop watching this video if you want. These 2 parts, these 2 bullet points right here, These two parts are only for people between ages 18 and 54. But for the last section of this video, we're just going to talk about this one. I'm going to show you a list of documents that they accept as your proof of language skills. So I have already included the link below. All you have to do to see the list is to click on prove your language skills, and it's going to automatically bring you down to this part of this page, and then you can just click on check if the language proof we accept, and then you scroll down, and as I mentioned, if you are between ages of 18 to 54, you have to show a proof of your language skills, and for those proof they accept a diploma, a transcript, and a certificate, and it can be either in English or French. So if you have any, and again for the language benchmark level 4 or higher in English and French, they're both accepted. So if you're between the ages of 18 and 54, you must submit proof that you can speak and listen at the Canadian language benchmark level 4 or higher in English or French. And these are the list of stuff you can upload. If you have any further questions, let me know in the comment and I will try to answer it.